original visitors to this planet.
Yes.
With the assumption that they're dead, that it's only the descendants are left.
Okay.
Well, as I left off in the Atlantis book having people think that. In the DVD I do on Atlantis and on 2012, I bring up a much more occult controversial theory, which is that some of the original Nephilim, this is the full-blooded alien, no human blood at all.
These are the guys that were referenced in Genesis 5.
The same characters have been interned in certain places on the earth and are still alive. They're really the undead. It's where the whole concept of the vampire comes from.
Really?
And that some of these leaders, because the leaders of the world, these lower henchmen, have not been able to find out how they're going to save their ass when the great cleansing comes in 2012, when there's these changes in consciousness. They have been so desperate to find the answer for many, many millennia now, not just the last 10 years. They've been looking for the remedy of how to offset some of these cleansing patterns that Mother Nature is bringing in, which is going to deal with them. They're not able to handle this. So in last resort, so to speak, they're actually going to disinter, because they know where these ancient grave sites are. It's like some sort of X-Files thing. I know it sounds like that, but it's an old occult agenda that has been spoken of in the ancient books, that these gods are interned in the earth. That's what they talk about in the book of Revelation when they say that the giants are chained to the earth for 1,000 years or a period.
Okay.
Under the earth, in Iran, in Iraq, and in Ireland, and in Palestine, and in certain other places in the world, in undefinable places. But they know where these places are because they have the ancient maps. The Vatican people have kept these maps. Now with the use of satellite, they can pinpoint these grave sites, these underground mausoleums. You know, just like you see in the movie Hellboy, and a lot of these movies that they're also revealing a fifth element. Watch what the movies are telling you because they're accurate. They're telling you in symbolic.
So the thinking is that they're going to go to these locations and release them?
They're already there. But you see, in Iraq, they couldn't be doing it with Saddam Hussein and a civilized country overlooking their shoulders. I mean, this is an X-Files type of experiment, but even with permission, they did not want to go in there with their tents and their laboratories and their experts with the Iraqi spies and Saddam looking over their shoulders, so they had a better idea.
What group of people, what secret society do you think oversees these operations?
This is there's many names. You know, one can use lots of different names. It's basically the Freemasons, the Masonic Order, or the preservers of this knowledge.
Okay, so what do we have any idea as to what happens when these ancient tombs are opened?
Oh, yeah. And it's not good, but that's a bit of a separate question. What's going on is that these individuals are in an undead state.
Right.
And they've been buried in certain places in tombs that are specially designed. And not the same way that you know about the pharaohs, but with crystalline technology. So these beings are truly vampiristic. They've been fed of all the pain and sorrow and death and murder and mayhem and wars of the world, all that fear, all of the tribulation, from serial killings, from the violence that you have in your own family, from the violence that leaks off of you and the fear when you watch TV, to the world wars, all of it, taken in one, only generates one emotion. Or two emotions, fear and anger and pain, right?
So it sustains them.
Individuals feed off of that through the earth grid.
So they're still alive down there, and each one is kept in a separate sort of tomb?
I don't know if they're separate, but there may be more than one in one tomb. I'm not sure. All I know is that these individuals, the legends say, are interned, and that they feed off what their henchmen do on the surface, which is that they create wars and mayhem so that they are fed by fear. These individuals...
So I wonder if they are overshadowing or if they are controlling certain key people on the Earth's surface. They are.
Yes.
So the
those
Nephilim...
individuals who have taken over after they were interred have these secrets. And these individuals orchestrate the chaos in the world by design so that, one, their vampiristic leaders are fed with this energy, because we don't know a lot about human energy and the leaking from the brain. Another thing that they do, just as an aside, but a very important one, is that they often schedule mass events, like everybody charging down to Stonehenge to look at some crop circle, for instance, or looking at an eclipse. They stage this stuff because the human brain is an incredible generator. And we have around this earth, all Feng Shui and geomantist people know that there's a dodecahedron, an earth grid. And through this earth grid that is linked to everybody and everybody's thoughts. All your thoughts and your fears and your pain and the death of all the ritual deaths and world wars that are still going on, all of this pours, just like Richard Hoagland has discovered, that all the atom bomb detonations, the banks, the stately homes, they're all in the 30th, between the 30th and 33rd meridian of the Earth. There's a reason why civilization and many of these banks and world events take place on a certain area of the Earth. In my book Atlantis, there's a whole chapter on this. Now, this is because of the Earth grid, because they want the energy to channel in to the limbic psyche of these underworld beings that are created there, just like the movie Underworld and other movies have shown.
Okay,
now,
so what you're saying is that the energy now, the milk is starting to sour, and there's less and less fear for these people to generate. And what's the plan? They're gonna release them and then?
Oh no, there's more fear. It's just that they don't want to disinter them. They've had to because they have an overarching agenda, which is the coming of the end of the age of Pisces, or this Mayan end date, which could deal with photonic action. It might deal with some major earth cleansing. I haven't really thought about it, the mechanics of it is, because that's not important to me.
Yeah, but
all I know is that
what's the role of the Nephilim now, or in the near future?
Pardon?
What's the role going to be of the Nephilim once they are released?
Well, you see, we don't know what's going to happen when they're released. They might be as insane as hell and start devouring the very people that have disinterred them. They might not be happy. You know, they may not be happy after 11,000 years being dug up by their chumps who go, hey, boss, I think, we kind of blew it. Can you give us some guidelines? And they may be not happy, saying, you mean to tell me that 11,000 years have elapsed, you've controlled the world, you've raped every nation, you have everybody under servitude, and you can't find a way to offset this particular, natural organic change that's taking place, and you wake me up. They may not be in a good mood.
That's true.
That way.
Never, and people get grumpy after 11,000 years.
I know, and especially when they want feeding.
My
belief, and I talk about this in the DVD,
yeah.
that the ritual death of all the people in Iraq, all the mass murder that's been taking place there under the name of war,
yeah.
Isn't it true that when any creature first breaks from an egg, what is the first thing that it needs to do?
It needs to clean up.
No, it needs to eat.
Oh, right, that too.
Right, all species, when you see it breaking from the egg, the first thing it needs to do is feed. In fact, it eats its own egg, often, right?
Well, yeah, it has a bite of, it has something going on there.
Right, so I believe that prior to the point where they're going to try and awaken this, part of the ritual involves a massive ritual death on site.
Right, they're going to have some minions there for them to feed on.
That's what they've been doing. The mass murder that's been taking place in Iraq has got nothing to do with America being threatened, 11, or oil, or Cheney having a bad day. No.
What about the hundreds of kids that go missing every year?
Same thing. That's another thing I'm very tied into. The whole story of ritual death, and and that's so horrific. We don't even want to get into it. I'll leave the experts. But my work also involves in Atlantis, and the DVD that's coming out in Atlantis, 15 hours long. We go into the whole story of the Nephilim and their internment and what's been really going on this planet. Especially by way of the Earth grid. People need to get into geomancy and feng shui and realize that even the emotions that you leak when you turn on the news is for them. The news is a picture show that they show you in order to continue to have you come out of your center, come out of your spirit body, and start leaking fear, just like David Icke has said many times, start leaking all these negative emotions so that they have a nice feed, a nice hors d'oeuvre.
Okay, so here's kind of the last question that it says in Genesis, the story of Noah, when it talks about the Nephilim, that they were on Earth and they mated with certain women. Are the offspring and lineage of these inter sort of species mixtures still on Earth, and these are the ones that are in power today?
Yes. Precisely right. This is what David has exposed. We're all exposing this now. Some of the bloodline books that came out before hinted at it. But definitely David and...
are these the bloodlines of the Illuminati?
You got it.
Yeah?
Yeah, no question about it. This is what we exposed, that these people, the royal families, have kept meticulous bloodlines of going back through the Hanoverian line.